Yeah. And moreover, it is in this very sacred assembly, in this most auspicious of all holy places, Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Mandir, the temple of understanding. So Ravindra Swarup Prabhu has already sung the bhajan that we had for this morning. It's okay, it's okay. Thank you. And that is the original Sri Ram Dhun by Lakshmana Acharya. The words of the Acharyas should never be tampered with. They should be accepted as it is. The moment we interfere with those words, then we become useless. Asar, Prabhupada says. But once we accept the words of the Acharya as they are, and you know, famously Prabhupada has established Bhagavad Gita as it is, to make that exact same point, that the words must be accepted exactly as it is. So therefore, the original Ram Dhun should not only be known by us, but it should be widely broadcasted. His Holiness Kadamakanana Swami has very nicely made it available for everyone in the KK songs. And he's given us the reference as well as the translation. So you can Google it and get the explanations in English. Every of the shlokas, every first line refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, and every second line is glorifying the devotees of the Supreme Lord. So like it's, okay, you can read it and then you can get it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritye naranchaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So for today's celebration, we have selected from chapter 10 of the 9th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This chapter is entitled The Pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, and the text is number 54. Please repeat after me. Eka Patni Vrata Dharo Rajrishi Charitaha Suchihi Swadharmam Grihamediyam Shikshayan Swayam Acharat Ekapatni Vratadharo Ekapatni Vratadharo Rajrishi Charitah Suchi Rajrishi Charitah Sushi Swadharmam Griyamediyam. Swadharmam Griyamediyam. Shikshayan Swayamacharat. Shikshayan Swayamacharat. Ekapatni Vratadharo. Rajrishi Charitah Suchi. Swadharman Griyamediyam. Shikshayam Swayamacharat. Ekapatni Vratadharo. Rajrishi Charitah Suchi. Swadharman Griyamediyam. Shikshayam Swayamacharat. Ekapatni Vratadharo. Rajrishi Charitah Suchi. Swadharman Griyamediyam. Shikshayam Swayamacharat. Ekapatni Vratadharo. Rajrishi Charitah Suchi. Swadharmam Griyamediyam. Shikshayan Swayamacharat. Ekapatni Vratadharo. Rajrishi Charitah Suchi. Griyamediyam. Shikshayam Swayamacharat. Ekapatni Swayam. Rajrishi Charitah Suchi. Swadharman Griyamediyam. Shikshayam Swayamacharat. I'm speaking loud, softly, but it's fine, it's working fine. Okay, so. Shikshayam Swayamacharat. Ekapatni Vratam Dharo. Ekapatni Vratadhara. Taking a vow not to accept a second wife or to have any connection with any other woman. Rajrishi, like a saintly king. Charitaha, whose character. Suchihi, pure. Swadharmam, one's own occupational duty. Griyamediyam, especially of persons situated in household life. Shikshayan, teaching by personal behavior. Swayam, personally. Acharat, executed his duty. So Sikshayan is by one's behavior, how one teaches, and Swayam is through his personal conduct, words, and activities. Okay, the translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Lord Ramachandra took a vow to accept only one wife and have no connection with any other woman. He was a saintly king, and everything in his character was good, untinged by qualities like anger. He taught good behavior for everyone, especially for householders, in terms of varnashrama dharma. Thus he taught the general public by his personal activities. Please repeat. Lord Ramachandra took a vow to accept only one wife and have no connection with any other woman. He was a saintly king, and everything in his character was good, untinged by qualities like anger. He taught good behavior for everyone, especially for householders, in terms of varnashrama dharma. Thus, he taught the general public by his personal activities. The purport by His Divine Grace reads, Eka Patni Vratha, accepting only one wife, was the glorious example set by Lord Ramachandra. One should not accept more than one wife. In those days, of course, people did marry more than one wife. Even Lord Ramachandra's father accepted more wives than one. But Lord Ramachandra, as an ideal king, accepted only one wife, Mother Sita. When Mother Sita was kidnapped by Ravana and the Rakshasas, Lord Ramachandra, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, could have married hundreds and thousands of Sitas. But to teach us how faithful he was to his wife, he fought with Ravana and finally killed him. The Lord punished Ravana and rescued his wife to instruct men to have only one wife. Lord Ramachandra accepted only one wife and manifested sublime character, thus setting an example for householders. A householder should live according to the ideal of Lord Ramachandra, who showed how to be a perfect person. Being a householder or living with a wife and children is never condemned, provided one lives according to the regulative principles of varnashrama dharma. Those who live in accordance with these principles, whether as householders, brahmacharis or vanaprasthas, are all equally important. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Lord Ramachandra establishes the correct standards of behavior, of relationships, of logical understanding, of dealing in situations where there is discord, conflict resolution, and in cases where there are moral or ethical dilemmas. So that's the gold standard. And it is for all of us, the Acharyas say, to follow in the footsteps of Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram. He is celebrated as that personality, known throughout eternal time as the greatest of all persons, Purushottama, the greatest personality of all time, and Maryada Purushottama, that he establishes the ideals of how to be a husband, of how to be a brother, how to be a son, and so on, in every relationship, how to be a friend. Just as in Krishna Leela, the Rasa Leela is the most misunderstood of all pastimes. Similarly, in Ram's pastimes, the most controversial is the banishment of Mother Sita. So today's class can very easily be titled The Unsung Glories of the Banishment of Sita Maharani. To understand how the decision taken by the royal family for Mother Sita to be sent to the forest was not easy. When the secret service of the royalty who were gathering intelligence and information from the citizens, they would come and report regularly to the king and others of what's happening in the population, what's going on among the citizens. And one such agent, when he came to the court of Lord Ram, he was hesitant to speak. And whilst everybody else gave their report, he was just reticent. So obviously, attention fell on him, and he was asked, "So, what did you find?" He said, "No, I didn't, nothing of consequence. Yeah, but tell us what you found, even though it may be inconsequential." And he said, "Oh, it was just some, insignificant dhobiwala speaking, some, riffraff. So his opinion can't be taken seriously, of course." No, but Lord Ram insisted, "We want to hear. Tell us, what did you find?" And that's when he begins very hesitatingly and ashamedly to convey this message, that there was one person whose wife had not returned home that previous night because there was a massive deluge, and she had to take shelter under a tree, being unable to cross the flooded river. So, okay, nothing too, untoward about that. And so why the hesitancy? Then on prodding him, he continues. Says, but he says this Dhobiwala was, admonishing his wife and wanting to boot her out of the home, saying that, "You think I am like Ram? You think that I will accept my wife back after she's been away at the home of another?" And in this way, this message pierced Lord Ramachandra like a spear in the heart. Remember, the standard of the rule in the kingdom is that not even a single person should be unhappy. That's Ram Rajya. Not even one person should be unhappy. So Ram was besides himself. How do you deal with such an issue? So he confided in Bharat, his younger brother, that I'm thinking about ending my life because there is no solution to this. Either to satisfy the citizens, because remember, once a rumor starts, it spreads like wildfire. When one person says something, the next person is going to say it and add their flavors to it. And then it goes on and on, getting magnified in time. So Ram, being mindful of this kind of scenario, says, what to do? Best I end my life. The other alternative is that Mother Sita has to leave the kingdom. This is the paradox of leadership, by the way. All the devotees who are in leadership position will attest that with leadership comes responsibility. And with responsibility comes sacrifice. And from sacrifice there is always tears. So, in places where the leaders are rejoicing, the citizens are unhappy. South Africa. In places where the leaders are sacrificing their own personal well-being and happiness, the citizens are blissful. So finally, it was decided that Lakshman should take Sita into the forest. We should understand that this was a decision not taken very lightly. And therefore, let us look at the whole scenario from Lord Ramachandra's perspective. Him being very committed, devoted, and loving to his dearmost Sita. There was a time whilst he was in the forest, lying on the lap of Mother Sita, that the son of Indra, known as Jayant, took on the form of a crow and began to peck at the body of Mother Sita. And from that time onwards, Jayant became known as Kakasura. Kak in Sanskrit means crow, and Asura is demon. Kakasura. Lord Ramachandra, when he got up from the lap of Mother Sita, because a drop of a blood had fallen on him. That's what got him up. He immediately picked up a piece of kusa grass, imbued it with the power of the Brahmastra, and released it. And when Jayant saw this, initially he thought he'll play a prank. Now he was in mortal danger. And we can see how protective Lord Ramachandra is of Mother Sita. The intensity of his love is exemplified by his tears when Mother Sita was stolen. From that point onwards, until she is found, Lord Ramachandra is crying. He is shedding tears incessantly. We see how he becomes crazy. He becomes mad. His love for Mother Sita he behaves like a mad person, like we see in Chaitanya Leela as well. That how when the Lord becomes intoxicated with this love, his behavior appears to common people as being irregular, to put it euphemistically. Lord Rama is asking the trees, asking the sun, the moon, the wind, the various plants and animals, the forest dwellers, please, 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 tell me, where is she? You must have some idea where she is. You are here after all, you are witness to it all. Please speak up, say something. And in this way, Lord Ramachandra was looking for her hither and thither, begging for help. Parvati Devi, seeing Lord Shiva in Kailash, looking at this pastime happening on the earth planet in wonder, asking, my Lord, what are you, why are you smiling so much? Adbhuta. Why are you smiling so wondrously? And he says, just see, my Lord, pointing down to the forest. And she was thinking in her mind, that looks like a hen-pecked husband, who has lost his wife, he's running around. So she thought she'll play a trick. And she put on the best guise and descended to the forest and made an appearance in front of Lord Ram as Mother Sita. And Lord Ramachandra, immediately upon seeing Parvati Devi, puts his hands together and bows down and says, Ma, what are you doing here? This is not a safe place for you. It's a forest full of demons, a forest place full of wild animals. Please, please, is there anything I can assist you with? What do you need? And she, being dejected, because she thought she will befool Lord Ram in a guise as Mother Sita. And then made post haste back to Kailash. Of course, Lord Shiva saw this happening, and from that point onwards, he told her that you have now taken the form of my mother, and therefore you will no longer be my wife. I will now respect you as my mother. And that eventually led to Parvati eventually giving up her current body in that form. So we can see that Lord Ramachandra's love for Sita is so deep. When I was young, and I know some of the people may recall this here in this audience, there was a local group from Durban that composed one song. For your precious love, I'll climb the highest mountain and swim the deepest sea. Okay, Prabhuji knows the song. Yeah. But of course, this is just metaphorical, right? People trying to woo some girl, make some flowery, poetic language to impress her. But we see Lord Ram actually moved the mountains, literally moved mountains. He actually crossed over the entire sea. And not just that, built a bridge over the sea. An 800-mile long bridge, 80 miles in width, in 5 days. Which engineer, which company can do that today? So such is his love for Mother Sita. That's how deep his love is. That no stone was left unturned. Even Hanuman, after finding Sita, he was mindful that Lord Ram was very sensitive. His love was so sensitive of Mother Sita that he was mindful how to convey the message that Sita was found. And do you know what he said? Found Sita I. So although it looked like broken grammar, this is the translation from Sanskrit, found Sita I. Because Hanuman was thinking at that point that if he mentioned Sita's name first, Lord Ramachandra could have left his body. Because remember, servants were sent all around the planet in every direction. And many of them had come back saying, so Hanuman was mindful. And therefore, when he said found, the word that everyone was hankering for, all the Vanaras started jumping for joy, as monkeys do, and in their own imitable style. And the news spread around the entire planet in sense around. Found, 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 and everybody is echoing it, relaying the messages. And every direction you point your ears, you can hear the sound vibration coming. And there is a Sita, found Sita. And finally, being the humble servant that he is, he had to confirm to Lord Ram and everybody else who actually found her. So who they would go to. It says, found Sita I. And so precious is Lord Ramachandra's love for Mother Sita that he immediately hugged Hanuman. The first and only time that he hugs Hanuman. He embraced him and he said, from now onwards, Hanumanji, you will be the same as my brothers. So he elevated Hanumanji to the category of being a brother and dealt with him in the same way. We see how sacred this bond is between Ram and Sita. That he took a vow that he will kill the person who had abducted her. When news came that it was Ravan, so Ravan's name was already written on the arrow of Lord Ram, just waiting for the arrow to get delivered to his heart. And Lord Ram annihilated the entire Rakshasa dynasty of Ravan. Not just him, but his whole kul, his whole lineage got wiped out. His commitment to Mother Sita was unwavering. Just see, he takes a vow. Eka Patni Vrata, the shloka under discussion. That he, although he had ample opportunities to marry many of the most eligible women in the universe, he says no. One vow, one woman, one wife. And by that, he becomes known. Because remember, रघुकुल रीत सदा हरि चेरा, प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए. That when a member of the Raghukul, the lineage, makes a statement, they would rather let their life go, give up their life, than to let their word be in vain. So everyone knew that this Eka Patni Vratha, it's a vow. It's not just some ordinary nice words. And we see the Lord Ramachandra's renunciation. Oftentimes, this opulence of renunciation is not easily understood. All these different opulences that Parasara Muni describes, wealth, fame, knowledge, beauty, and so on, the 6 opulences. Renunciation is not so easy to understand. But we see it in Lord Ramachandra's pastimes, that in her absence, he renounces everything. It's easier to renounce when you have no option. Like being a sannyasi, when you take a vow, you have no option but to be a sannyasi. But here, Lord Ramachandra, having all the trappings of royalty, having everything at his disposal, renounces everything. He sleeps on kusha grass, on the bare floor. He ate only herbs and roots and forest berries. Every day he fasted, 1 meal a day. And when it came to the performance of yagyas, because in Treta Yuga it is, Tretayam yajato makai, that the process of worship in Treta Yuga is through yagya, through fire sacrifice. But a householder cannot perform a fire sacrifice without his spouse. So Lord Ramachandra commissioned a golden murti of Sita to be by his side. So just imagine the statement Lord Ramachandra is making to the citizens of Ayodhya and the world. You thought that your queen was impure because she was in exile in Ravan's place. Ravan had captured her for 10 months. But just see by my actions. He never said a word. He never protested. Because of his renunciation, he never protested. But he showed by his actions, by keeping Mother Sita with him by his side and performing yagya after yagya. Such, gold is already a very pure substance. But when you put gold in fire, the gold becomes even more pure. The way to purify gold is to heat it. To remove any impurities from gold, you heat it beyond melting point. So, he was showing repeatedly that in the fire of sacrifices, her purity is shining forth brilliantly. And he also, through his actions, began to establish the process of worship in the next yuga, Dwapara Yuga, which is gorgeous deity worship. By demonstrating that this Archa Vigraha, Sundara Vigraha Megasham, That is the shlok. By demonstrating this Archa Vigraha is non-different to Mother Sita. Let's turn the spotlight to Mother Sita. Let's see things from her perspective. Just as Akrura took Krishna and Balaram away from Vrindavan after the 11 years, here we have Lakshman taking Mother Sita out of Avodhya into the wilderness. And we see that Lakshman was silent throughout this entire journey. He was the chariot driver. And his head was hung down, dejected, forlorn, unable to utter a word. And this was one of the reasons why Lakshman took a vow not to come back as as Lord Ram's younger brother. He wanted to be the elder brother. And therefore he came as Balaram. Why? As a younger brother, he had to do things that he didn't agree with. If he had his own way, he would have revolted and said, no ways. But because he was a younger brother, he had to abide by the order of his elders. So Mother Sita was left. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ke, Shriman Mahaprabhu ke, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ji ke, Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ke, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So Mother Sita was actually placed intentionally in the forest. She was happy. We can see by her attitude that she was very happy. Normally when people are kicked out, they are unhappy. So, but from her perspective, she was very happy. And she tells Lakshman when she alights the chariot, tells Lakshman, Lakshman, your brother needs you more than ever before. I will no longer be around to comfort him. But you, please take on that responsibility, because this decision will pain him more than anyone else. You know, in cases of separation, our common experience is that the spouse that gets custody of the children, somehow those children become averse to the other spouse. Yes or yes? Right? So if the wife gets custody of children, oh, the husband is a demon. And if the husband gets custody of the children, the wife, she is such a useless thing. So this is the propaganda that goes on usually, right? But in this case, we see that Mother Sita brought Love and Kush up into thinking that Lord Ramachandra is the greatest, most worshipable personality that there is. And not only that, Valmiki, in whose ashram they had taken shelter and who had given them refuge, and by the way, Valmiki's ashram was within the Koshal province, of which Avodhya was the capital, and therefore it was sponsored by the state. The kings would take care of all the rishis. They would sponsor them, so there was never any want. So it is not that Mother Sita was thrown into a place where she had to fend for herself. without any support. Already, that was in place. So, Valmiki himself had selected these two youngsters to be the greatest Sankirtan devotees the world has ever known. They were the greatest proponents of the Ramayana. So you think if there was any tinge of anarthas in their character, that Valmiki, that personality who was penning the Ramayana before the Ramayana actually occurs, he was writing things down in advance. Through his mystic perfection, he was seeing the Ramayana unfold within the core of his heart. And such a great personality. Do you think he'll make an error of judgment and choose somebody that is not properly qualified? Of course not. When Mother Sita was debating with Lord Ram, when Lord Ram was given the order to go into the forest, to be banished for 14 years, the first exile. Remember, that order by Kaikeyi was not applicable to Mother Sita. She was not banished. And Lord Ramchandra was imploring her, no, you don't go, you stay behind. You are a queen, you have been brought up in royalty all your life. You can't, this is not a place for you. And then she tells, one of her many arguments, she tells Lord Ram that, when I was very young, my parents did an astrology on me. And at that time, that female astrologer, she said, this girl will go into the forest 2 times. And Mother Sita tells Lord Ram, from that day onward, when I was a very young child, my bags were packed and ready. I am eagerly looking forward to it. Bhavabhuti, a great poet who wrote 2 famous commentaries on the Ramayana, Uttara Ramayana Charita and Mahavir Charita. And in the Uttara Ramayana Charita, he mentions something very intriguing. He says that Mother Sita developed a pika in a pregnancy. Pika means that one develops some yearning to taste something. Like how pregnant women, sometimes they want to eat salty food, or sometimes they want to, do some funny things. You may have, all the women who are pregnant and all the husbands who know about it will know that women do develop pika, something. So he writes that Mother Sita developed the pika for being in the forest again. Because she had experienced forest life before, and she had a wonderful experience being with the great sages, getting their association. There is nothing better in life than having the association of pure devotees of the Lord. Incomparable to all the riches and opulence of Ayodhya or any spiritual system. The opulence of having the association of the pure devotees far exceeds any such thing. So she had a great yearning, and she was also thinking, what a wonderful place to bring up children. Bring them up in a Gurukul. Bring them up in a place that is free from all the influences of Maya. She was thinking like this. And of course, we know that Mother Sita was a very, very smart woman. She was not some pushover that somebody could tell her anything and she would just fall for some word jugglery. No. In fact, at the time of the Bidai, that means like after Sita got married to Lord Ram, there is a ceremony that takes place after the wedding where the parents and the families get together and they send the bride off with the groom. At that time, Maharaj Janak tells Lord Ram that this girl is dharmacharini. That means she is the embodiment of dharma. And she will correct you if you make any mistakes along the path of dharma. Do not mind. Telling Lord Ram, Maryada Purushottam Ram gets a lesson in dharma. And we see that Mother Sita never protested, nor did she present any counter arguments to going to the forest, but happily embraced it. In English, there's a very beautiful expression. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So in the ambit of a loving relationship, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Otherwise, what happens? Out of sight is out of mind. Right? So we see that in Krishna Leela, the most intense, ecstatic, and powerful emotions of love are experienced by Radha and Krishna in their absence, in their physical absence. Krishna leaves Vrindavan at around 12 years of age, and Krishna was on the planet for 125 years. So for at least 113 odd years, they were separated and they were enjoying this Vipralamba Bhav, the highest of all emotional ecstasies. Similarly, in Ram Leela, Mother Sita is sent to the forest at age 42. And Lord Ramachandra was on this planet for 11,000 years. So over 10,958 years almost, they were not together. The Lord appears for external reasons and for his own personal reasons as well, in every lila, in every incarnation. And this, dear devotees, is the most confidential reason of the banishment of Mother Sita, because both of them wanted to experience Vipramlamba Bhav. You see, it's not spoken about. The Ramayana is quiet about this. And even in Krishna Leela, no mention is made of this. It is only once Madhavendra Puri and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifest themselves on this planet that the tattva, the truth about this aspect, this confidential aspect of the pastime becomes known. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvataha. That when one understands in truth, in tattva, the appearance and the activities of the Supreme Lord, then all our sins are finished and neutralized, because the reward is the spiritual world, moksha. You gain admission to Vaikuntha, a place from which there is no return. I'll conclude with one last statement, and then we'll open it up for question and answers. We may go on a little longer if it's okay, if there is many questions, because there's no breakfast, right? We're skipping breakfast this morning. We are fasting. Okay, so once His Holiness Bhakti Swami was asked a question in the basement of New Jagannath Puri temple on the occasion of Naumi. And at that time, the upper structure was not yet built. So taking you back some time. And he was asked, Shilaendra Swami Maharaj was also present there that day. And he was asked, why was Mother Sita banished? And he replied, a Rasika reply. He replied, in order to deepen your love for her. So, all the Lord's pastimes are meant to deepen our love for the divine couple. The Lord comes for this explicit purpose. He appears. And it is our great good fortune to have our connection with the personification of Bhakti Devi herself, the conduit by which we get admission into the palace of Bhakti to gain her favor. So today, in glorification of Lord Ram, let us remember the glories of the banishment of Mother Sita. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, corrections? You know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Aslisya va padam ratan pinastu mam, adarshanam mama hatam karotu va, yada tata va vidadato lampato, mat prananatastu sa eva napara. The pinnacle of all, surrender. And we see this exemplified in Mother Sita. That no matter what, my Lord, you will remain so unconditionally. You are my most worshipable object. You can do what you like with me. You can handle me any way you want. Even if you're rough, even if you make me broken-hearted, you are my Lord unconditionally. So this pastime also is brought to life by the final shloka of the Shikshastakam. Okay. Questions?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Jai Jagadananda Pandit Prabhu ki jai. Thank you so much.
Prabhupada ki jai.
As your knowledge of Ramayana and Lord Ram's pastimes is certainly very, very laudable and informative. I like the way you know, one would normally speak about Lord Ram's pastimes and perhaps the tattva of his appearance and, more of the philosophical side, but you brought the Rama into life in all of the pastimes and yet still managed to present the philosophy, especially this last verse from Shri Shikshastakam made it very, very evident about the Vipralamba aspect of the Lord. So I want to thank you very much. And I also observe that you obviously relish the pastime of Lord Ram. You can see you're like a delighted little boy. Hare Krishna. So, no questions, but I just want to say thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Smita Krishna Prabhu. Bless me, please. Must be questions. No questions. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. This Vipralamba Bhav you're speaking about is, I know it's the highest, but it's so difficult for us to actually ascertain it or to actually, understand it. Can you explain more about it?
Okay. Well, now I'm going to give you theory. I can't speak for a practical example. Because once I asked my Guru Maharaj the same question. And I asked him, I said, Radharani was rolling in the ground. She had not eaten for days on end. Neither had she taken a bath. Her hair was disheveled. And she was unaware of her surroundings. So, all the elders were around her. There was no proper etiquette in honoring them and all. She just was oblivious of them. And I'm saying, how? How can this be considered the highest ecstasy? To me, it looks like it's pain. Right? And then I kept quiet. I'll tell you Maharaj's reply a little later. First, I'll try to answer your question and I'll get back to the reply just now. I'll keep you waiting. So, we see in the example of great lovers that when they are separated, their consciousness is a lot more focused on remembrance of the lover. They are always thinking about their beloved in superlatives almost, in very nice ways. They are remembering incidences. And in this way, the Lord becomes manifest before them. You see, when Krishna or Lord Ram was on the planet, in the presence of the gopis, there was only one Krishna. But when Krishna disappears from their vision, then Krishna is manifesting himself unlimitedly in their consciousness. And each person, according to their very nature, was relishing those relationships. Now, it said, Ekale Ishwara Krishna Ara Sabha Bhritya, Chaitanya Charitamrita. That there is only one Supreme Lord and that everyone else is his servants. So even though Radha and Krishna are eternally one, Radha Krishna Ekatanu hai, they are one soul, but they have separated themselves into two bodies for the purposes of pastimes. Krishna is known as Rasaraj because Krishna wants to relish the taste of these pastimes. And not just as one person, but as unlimited personalities with each and every living entity. So the more we develop our eagerness, our thirst, our hunger, our labdha for the Supreme Lord, and that is not like artificial thing. It has to happen through knowing how great the Lord is and through developing our relationship with Him. Because when you develop a relationship with somebody at a deep level, you want to be with that person. And when that person is not readily available, you miss that person. So, when the gopis asked, they had a istagosti, and they asked, hey, this boy is a lampat, he's a debauchee, he's a rascal. How come? How come? What kind of love is this? See how he treats us. When he, maybe he's a reciprocal lover. Jai jata mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. As they surrender unto me, and they're quoting scripture by the way, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So it's reciprocal, it's transactional. Oh, easy Atma Rama. He is so self-satisfied that he's aloof from everybody else. He don't care whether you love him or don't love him. He's self-satisfied. Or is he a selfish lover? That he only wants to use and abuse everyone. So what kind of lover is he? And eventually none of them could come to the answer. And they ended up approaching Krishna directly, and Krishna answers. And Krishna says, I am that kind of lover that loves you in such a way to increase your love for me. So Krishna's dealings with all of us, and Lord Ramachandra's dealings with all of us, is based on that principle. That he loves us in a way that enhances our love for him. That is meant to increase and intensify our love for him. So this is Vipralamba. Vipralamba is meant to take us to that position of samadhi. That position that everyone is hankering for. That position where we remember the Supreme Lord and His devotees every moment of every day. Like how Bhagavad Gita says in the 18th chapter, Sanjaya, when he says, when I recall this conversation, what happens? I experience a thrill, my hairs stand on end. These are asta sadvika bhav. He experienced ecstasy. And in that ecstasy, he says, this is not a thrill at a moment, but it's a thrill at every moment. So, the whole spiritual world is about ecstasy. Satchidananda. Everything is ecstatic. And it gets more and more ecstatic. So my spiritual master answered. He said, with this body, you will not be able to comprehend. You have to go there to experience it. So I'm going to repeat that words to you. You have to go there to really fully experience it. But the words of the acharyas will never go in vain. If they say that is the highest, and they say do not trust your senses, do not trust your mind and your mundane logic, do not trust how you perceive things in the material world, and from your past experiences in the material world trying to draw spiritual conclusion. Don't trust all these things. We have to supplicate ourselves and accept that yes, Srila Prabhupada, your words are our highest truths. And we hold them dearmost to our hearts. Is that okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Ram Naumi Maha Mahotsav Ki. Hare Krishna. All the best.